I want to do a little life update video, and I'm going to structure it in this way. I hope you'll stick with me because I really care about this video, and I think it's really crucial to the people who kind of say, like, oh, it's great to follow your journey. Like, oh, I love watching what you're doing and seeing how it all unfolds. I'm really excited about the way things are unfolding as well, but I just wanted to put together a bit of like a video to talk about what's been going on in 2024 and 5, and then what I'm planning to do between now and the end of the year in order to kind of shift my success even higher in 2026. So I know that it's early, and I know a lot of people probably don't want to talk about like the new year and the holidays and things like that, but it's November 1st. We have 2 months to get to the end of the year and like to kind of like, not that you have to like follow through on every New Year's resolution or like get everything done before the end of the year, but like I personally like want to be able to set some goals for the end of the year, because I know that you can achieve things in shorter bursts of time, and I think in my own life something has to change. The reason is because while I'm enjoying myself and while I'm loving building my businesses and while I am having a good time and I'm learning a lot and I'm making a lot of impact in building my dreams, I also am struggling a little bit to like just kind of live and keep up with everything and just kind of make everything happen for myself. So it's an interesting thing that I thought I would just kind of like put together this video where I think through live what my strategy is going to be for the next 2 months so that I set myself up for a successful 2026. Now, one thing that I'll say as kind of a disclaimer is like, I'm okay with slow growth. I do not think that growth needs to happen like extremely quickly. Of course, we all love like fast growth and fast, like, big ticks and things and stuff like that. And like what I'm feeling right now is that we are going into my busy season for my photo booth business, and I'm really excited about that. I think that's going to be a really good positive thing that's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 months that will actually keep me going a little bit further. But now I'm thinking through, okay, so then maybe business drops off a little bit in February or March or April. What am I going to do in that time in order to keep myself going and keep myself afloat? As we know, things just get more and more expensive. Things get harder and harder to afford, and so I'm trying to keep up with all of that. With just kind of keeping my income growing year over year. I'm totally like fine to like live small and like keep myself really modest and like not really buy new clothes, not go to a bunch of new concerts, things like that. But I am thinking long term, like how can I grow things over time so that in 5, 10 years I'm really feeling more successful. Let's talk about the word successful. I would rather be happy than successful. I would rather personally feel happy than have people think I'm happy, and I would rather like never make another dollar in my life and be able to afford things, but like be able to like live in a way that's authentic to me versus be miserable and have $500,000 a year. Those are like my three stances on money, happiness, authenticity, and like living your dreams. Now, those are very idealistic as well. I don't necessarily think I can make no more dollars in my life and still be able to afford things. But if I have to prioritize, I would rather downsize my life. I would rather like figure out a way to not have to like be miserable in order to afford what I want to afford. So like I am totally into this idea for the last couple of years that like if I can't afford something, I would rather like not have to go get a 9 to 5 that I hate, and just kind of not afford that thing and like kind of like be able to cut it out of my life. Like Broadway shows, I haven't seen one that I've paid for in 2 years. I really haven't. When I've seen a Broadway show, which has been very rarely, I think I've seen two this year, maybe even one. It's been a gift. Like somebody has come to town and bought me a ticket, which is very, very nice. If I've gone to a concert, it's been very inexpensive and like something I saved up for. Um, and one person one time told me like they love that I post the positive stuff, like, oh my God, like I just hit this milestone or I just worked for this company or whatever. But they appreciate that like I've been authentic and like truthful about what I'm sacrificing in order to like go on this journey and be able to live this like dream of making my own stuff happen. And I think that in reality, like I have been an overspender in my life. I have been somebody who when I had a job, like I would go get a facial and then I would get a massage or I would buy new shoes or whatever. And I really felt that I didn't have enough money. And now looking back, knowing that I had like basically free healthcare, knowing that I had a salary coming in twice a month, it's really funny to know like that I felt that I wasn't making enough money, because of course I would have loved to make more money, but like to have all of that covered, something I would really like the world to know is like to have all of that covered and to have money coming in even at all, is a really big win. And so I'm not saying anybody's lucky or anybody is unaware of that, but like for me it's just not something that I realized. And so anyway, as I think about the next year, 2026, I'm thinking something has to change. It's not because I'm not enjoying what I'm doing. I really am enjoying what I'm doing, but like I'm feeling a little unfocused. I'm feeling a little bit like I don't have the world's best strategy in the world. And I feel like a little unsatisfied with the level of, what is it, like the level, not the level of success, but like the quickness of the success. And so while I'm happy with slow growth, I also want to really accelerate the growth in 2026. So I have learned a lot in 2024 and 2025 about the photo booth business. I've also learned a lot about my content creation business where I go and make content for other people, and I've learned my priorities with the comedy stuff. And so I think I mean, even a year ago, I wouldn't have been able to put those three categories together for you. I would have been a lot more scattered in how I think about my life and my passions and my projects and like what I have going on. And so I just think that if I'm going to make more money in 2026, I there's something that's got to change. And I actually drew this little, whatever this is, a figure, a picture, where it says 2024 plus 2025 plus question mark equals 2026. That's what I'm thinking about right now, is like, what is going to change? I can't just keep doing the exact same thing. Some people might say, oh, get a part-time job. That's a good idea. I saw something online that was like every twice a week you would go and host karaoke for like 8 hours, and you'd get paid like 20-30 dollars an hour or something. And I thought that would be a really fun direction to go. Maybe that's the right amount of money, maybe it's not the right amount of money, but like I don't necessarily think that if I get a part-time job it should be at a company doing learning and development or even marketing or anything like that. Like, I don't know that that's the right direction. If it came up and I was really excited about it, I think it could be a really good direction, but I don't know that it's like the shoe in slot, like definitely like I'm going to go do marketing at a company. Especially part-time. I know that those things don't exist that often, and it's really hard to get a job at a startup, at a company, even a bigger company like Google or Facebook or whatever. I don't think that that's necessarily the only direction I could take. I could maybe go be a bartender. I have no experience bartending, so it would be hard, but like something in the world of like bars, entertainment, events could be really cool. Like last night, it was Halloween, and I did an event for the photo booth with RPM Underground. And it just seemed like a really great place to be, a really great environment. And there were bartenders and DJs and this and that. I was the photo booth, which was awesome. And I just really felt like maybe there's something like at a place like this that I could build a little bit more of a career or build a little bit more of a steady income. I don't know. I don't know. So I'm just thinking through that. And then also, obviously, I want to increase the business for the photo booth, and I want to always be doing the photo booth. Basically, like if I could live and like every other day I had a photo booth event, that would be really, really, really fantastic. But also, I am thinking in the next 2 months, really in the next 3 months, what I want to do is really build up my content business. And that's my own content. That's one thing, because that's hard to make money on your own content. But I have really big skills on making content, editing videos, shooting and directing videos, shooting and directing podcasts. And I have friends who work in that, and like they can produce stuff and like direct stuff and work on stuff. And I'm a really, really, really good producer, is something I've learned in my comedy career. I can produce and I can make stuff happen and I can build in a way that I know that other people can't do. And I also have really high expectations, and I have really high standards for myself and for others on how things get done. But it's in a very friendly and compassionate and fun way. And I think that that makes me stand out as a producer. So maybe it's event production, maybe it's show production, whatever it is, like, I think there's a version of production that I can do that would be really, really positive for my income and really positive for what I'm building and really aligned with what I'm building as well. But the content creation is really fun to do for other people. I have all these different clients that come to me, they go, they come, they go. Some stick with me for a long time, some come to me for a project by project, basis. And I really enjoy making content for people. So what that is helping people shoot content. We can go to the park, we can build content together. It's editing content. And so that means just kind of like being at my computer, making something that they're going to love posting. And then there's also the coaching aspect of it as well, which I've made a little bit of money in 2025 on coaching, and just being able to support people. And I almost call it even like advising or cheerleading, and helping people just like make better decisions, helping them like understand what's required to launch something. Things like that are really fun for me to do. But the thing that's interesting is it's a lot. I've found it's a lot easier to make money when you're just kind of employed by somebody. And I'm not saying that's my preference. I'm saying it's easier. And it's not always easier, but it's more simplified, I should say. When you go to a job and you work 8 hours and you get paid for those 8 hours, like that's pretty a straightforward transaction. However, when I work 5 hours at a photo booth event, it's not taking into account like the 40 other hours I spent on like the sales and like working with people that didn't book me, things like that. It's pretty standard like business owner stuff. But I will say that I genuinely like want to find a way to maybe make a little bit more steady income, even if it's like $1,000 a month, to just like go somewhere, wake up in the morning, go somewhere and like make something happen, and like go and like maybe I work at a shoe store. Maybe I don't know that I want to do that, but maybe I work, at a sock store. That could be fun, like something fun. Like I remember when I was 16, I kind of made a vow to myself to always like work in a place that people go to have fun. And there's tons of those places in New York City. I mean, I could go work somehow at a park, or I could work at like there's all these places that I go for the photo booth that like like kids places, for example. Like there are places that kids go to have fun, and like you could go work at the front desk at that, or you could go work at the front desk at like some kind of like music studio or something like that. Like there's ways to make money that are not working at like a 9 to 5 like startup job. And I think that that's what I'm trying to detach from, is like if someone says like, oh, you should go get a job, well, I don't think that that's necessarily the exact way that I should go get a job, especially if I'm going to do it part time and it's not going to have benefits anyway. So anyway, that's on my mind. And I think that, I don't know that I'm going to go get a job in the next 2 months, but like it's something to consider is all I'm saying. It's something to consider. So I think like as I'm talking through it, like the first thing is like allow the photo booth and like really work on the photo booth to be like a total knockout hit for the holidays this year, 2025. And then during that, um, build up the content business, really raise awareness around the content business, do content about the content business, DM people, let people know that I am the person that can make content. For anybody out there who's thinking of they want to help me in any way, number one, if you want to, you can hire me to help you make content. So that could be like taking a video that you made and I can make clips out of it, or taking a podcast idea that you have and I can help you produce the podcast, or like just going out to the park and like making videos with me, like $150 or something like that. And like that's a really big way to support me. But also, if you hear of brands, comedians, performers, authors, speakers, people on panels, stuff like that, that need content and like they know that content matters, but they don't like doing it themselves for whatever reason, that's my target market with this. So that's what I'm trying to build and do, in a way that's really meaningful for people who like A, they don't like content, or B, they just don't have the time and the bandwidth or the skill to do the content. But content is important these days. Like you have to be on Instagram, you have to be on TikTok, whatever you have to be on. And also like professionally, like LinkedIn videos are really popular right now. And so I'm just thinking through like ways to support people in that way, because I do love like business and 9 to 5s and like the mission and vision of certain companies and stuff like that. And so I would love to support people's like mission, like really entrepreneurs and like speakers and authors and stuff like that. But I think that's really what's going to crack the code for me in 2026 is like diversifying from the photo booth, because the photo booth is really a fantastic business, but it's just not something that's like totally booked and busy all year long yet. I think in 2026 it could be a big transitional year where now I have all these reviews and I have all these clients and I have a great SEO on my website and stuff like that. Like maybe 2026 will be a busy year for the photo booth, but I'm not going to depend on it and I'm not going to rely on it and I'm not going to plan thinking that that's what's going to happen. So I think the content business, one thing that you might not know about the content business is that it does bring in a good amount of my income. It's already a proven concept. It's not like I'm building a new business. I'm just trying to grow it and build the awareness around it and make it so that people know that I have that business so they can refer me when something comes up. Some of the best jobs I've had are like going out and like helping comedians film videos to promote their shows, photographing and filming people's shows, editing clips of people's, shows or talks or, opportunities that they've had. And then sometimes I've actually helped people make podcasts, and I've helped people like edit podcasts, make podcast clips, things like that are really good for my content business. So if you ever hear of something like that, like you can let me know, and I would love to help those people with their businesses and their whatever they're doing, their goals. So I think with that, as I think about like ending the year, there's a lot on my mind, but I am feeling really good about the potential. So, and I'm feeling good about my own accountability and my own humility to know that like I'm starting to realize like I do have gaps and there are things that I am not the best at that I need to start asking people for help for, or researching and learning, or just kind of giving up. Like not giving up on my dreams or giving up on my ability to like be the person who's supporting myself. But like there are certain things that I could give up. I'll say that. Like there are certain things that like I can admit I'm not the best at. To be honest with you, like strategy is not my biggest strength. I'm really great at experience. I'm really great at planning, but strategy and coming up with like, how am I going to make this work is not the greatest thing on my plate. And so I've been doing a lot of like asking questions, asking for feedback, asking for ideas, asking for like people to be brutal and honest with me, because it's something that I could be a little bit idealistic, and I could also be a little bit less data driven than I would want to be in as a CEO of my own kind of endeavors. And I'm just really I'm happy that I got to that point, that like maybe I don't have to be everything to everything at all at once. You know what I mean? Like I can be a great business person, but also get out of my own way. And so I think with that, those are what's on my mind right now. I thought I would just sit down and talk to you and just kind of like have a little moment with the audience, with the people who are enjoying my journey, because people do say that to me a lot and I really appreciate it. They're like, oh my god, it's so cool to see what you're doing and what you're building and all of that stuff. And like it is fun. It's really cool to like grow and build what I'm building and like all of that. But I always want to be honest with you and honest with people that are watching this happen, is like, a it's not, well, I don't think I'm making it look glamorous, but it's not maybe as glamorous as it looks, or it might be even less glamorous than it looks, or it's something like that. It might be more of a struggle than it looks. And then B, like, I don't know. I think it's like knowing that I could use help, or like knowing that like people don't just do this all on their own. Like to build something on my own with very little resources is very difficult. And so I want to be always open about that, and then see like just kind of raising the awareness about the content business, because that's going to be a thing that is able to sustain me a little bit more throughout the year, where I'm a multi hyphenate. I have multiple businesses. People can hire me for multiple things, and that's always been true. But the focus, the strategy, and the ability to communicate those things is very important. So anyway, with that, I hope you have an amazing day, an even better week, and do not forget forever to live your life in bold.